say innovation, what do we mean? How do we qualify it? How do we define it? And ultimately, how do we measure it? I mean, you use the Apple story as a bit of a case study with the iPods, and how the essence of innovation is not only disrupting the market, but also disrupting your own previous business model in a way, right? So it's being able to let go of what's perhaps been successful in the past to truly blaze that trail rather than just trying to imitate what somebody else has done that's been slightly successful.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I got picked up on that this morning actually on a speaking thing that I did off the back of that, and actually I think it's when you look at the rationale for Apple's kind of ending of that series, ending of that iPod series after 20 years, of wild success in that sense. It's like, well, actually the customers' needs have changed, therefore the things that we deliver has changed. And I think that's the difficulty when you sort of stand back from financial services, like the financial instruments that have been, distributed through people and telephony and now websites and mobile apps. It's just the same stuff, and actually you cannot for 1 second think that, post-pandemic, post-Brexit, cost income, issues, the challenges of cost of living and everything that's happening, you can't for 1 second think that actually we can still fall back on the same products and services that were invented 250, 300 years ago. It is just illogical. There's no other industry where that would be the case. Even the energy industry over that same period of time has at least stopped digging up coal and started digging up the ocean. And, even then they started going to renewable energy in that sense. So, what other industry other than financial services is so blindly clinging to innovation from 250 years ago, rather than evolving to what is truly needed in the industry, which is just a much better level of service.
Absolutely. I think the tradition runs so deep with particularly banks, right? And I think that's why it's so difficult for these organizations to often get over that hill, because, you talk about the energy industry, that's changed. That's had multiple iterations, throughout the last, generation by generation by generation until where we are today. Whereas, like you said, banks have remained largely the same for 250 years.
It's strange that, on that, most people kind of go, yeah, but it's highly regulated. Yeah, but it's a big, regulated industry and you don't understand it because the regulator won't allow us to do it. And I'm like, to your point, oil and gas, could not be more regulated in that sense. And the government have such a massive interest in it, and the different countries have such a massive interest in it, but it is still going through such a gigantic transformation in that sense. I mean, the other industry to point out, that when people kind of push back on that, is like health. Actually the pharmaceutical industry, literally innovates every day. They are bringing drugs to market to test and treat all different types of diseases, from curing, well, maybe not curing, reducing the impact of a global pandemic, to treating all different forms of cancer. And they don't do it by killing 5 million people when they do it. They do it in a controlled fashion to bring these things to market. So I think a lot of those things are always, if I'm honest with you, excuses. I think to your point around, how ingrained this is hard, or how ingrained but you don't get it with financial services. I think the only way to sort of walk people off that shelf is showing equally sizable, equally regulated, equally complex industries that have solved this problem a number of years before. Banking doesn't really need to be innovative. It needs to be a lot better at copying. And actually, if they could really get to grips with learning from other industries and copying quickly, the whole place would be a lot better.